Hey you, yes you, see all these wonderful people right here? They are my Patreons. With the support I get from them, I can afford to do my passion as a career and bring you guys weekly videos. Want to join them? For just $1 a month, you can get videos 24 hours before anyone else. And for even higher tiers, you can get Polaroids, letters, and mystery boxes from me to you. And even Fursuit parts, not to mention my eternal thanks. So what are you waiting for? Become a Patreon today via the link in the description. Thanks again, enjoy the video.
Hello, I am Sky and welcome to my floor, and welcome to a brand new series called Clean Beans. Ooh. This series will be covering the ins and outs, everything you need to know about cleaning any kind of fursuit. I'm going to premise this entire series by going, do what your maker tells you. This is in case you don't have contact with them or you want to find a different way, maybe a more effective way of cleaning your fursuit, but always test everything and do what I tell you with an air of caution. Take what I tell you with a grain of salt because every fursuit is different and requires different care needs. But the things that I'm going to be telling you and teaching you will apply to most fursuit heads. Today, we're going to be covering probably the most frequently asked question about cleaning fursuits, and that is washing the head. This is old Sky. She is in her retirement years now, so I figure it's probably only fitting that I give her a good old wash so she can live out her retirement days smelling and looking absolutely amazing. So this is going to be a hand wash tutorial. Lots of fursuit heads can be washed in the washing machine, however I'm going to assume that you either don't know that or don't know whether yours can be, or you made it yourself and you're not sure, or you just want to be extremely careful. Some washing machines can be a bit more dangerous for fursuit heads than others, so this is the safest method without a LittleGreen. I will be covering LittleGreen next episode. I'll give her a more deep clean with the LittleGreen once she's dried and all ready to go. So we're going to get straight on into it. So I have a brush. Make sure it's got the metal bristles. Let's see if my camera will focus. Make sure it's got those metal bristles. So the next thing I have is a bucket of lukewarm water. We'll be putting a towel down to catch any wet drops, and there will be many. I have two different cloths. One is going to be my dirty rag and one's going to be my clean rag. And I also have some non-name brand specific sensitive detergent. So it's just washing detergent stuff you chuck in your washing machine. So we are going to get straight on into it. I'm going to go grab a towel, put down, so let's do that now. And we have a towel. So the first step when you are hand washing a fursuit head is you're going to want to wet it. Now when you wet it, I forgot something else. Of course I forgot something else. You know what else you're going to need? You know what else you're going to need? Hold on. Paper towels. That's what we need. So the first thing we're going to do, when you're not sure whether your eyes are waterproof or not, now this is a standard feature with most makers' fursuit heads nowadays. Not for all makers, but it's pretty safe to assume that your eyes are waterproof, but do check with your maker first. So first thing we're going to do, as I made this head a long time ago, these eyes are not waterproof. So we're going to take some paper towel, we're going to scrunch it up into a ball, and we're just going to shove it into the eyes. Now this is just going to catch any leftover dripping, any leftover water that's just going to happen to fall into our eye sockets, make our eyes paint run. We don't want that. So now she looks cursed. We're going to take our dirty cloth. It's not actually dirty, this is perfectly clean at the moment, but it's going to be what's taking off all of the gunk and the grime. So we're going to basically take this, we're going to dip it into our water. This is just plain water. I haven't added any detergent yet. That's going to come next. So we're going to take our water, and this is just lukewarm. Now I tend to just kind of dip it in there, squeeze most of it out so that it's wet but not really like dripping that much. So it's dripping a little bit but it's not like... And we're just going to start wetting our fursuit head. You can kind of give it a bit of a squeeze because you kind of want to get the water all the way down to the backing. It's worth noting, I don't actually usually clean her this way, at least this head. I usually clean her in with the LittleGreen or in the washing machine, especially with her new head since her eyes are waterproof, but I have never put it through the washing machine, so we'll see how that goes. Be sure to take you guys along with me for that. I forgot to brush. You should really give it a brush before you start. Pretend that I did. Pretend that I brushed her, but she's gonna get a good brush afterwards. This way is probably the most delicate way to wash your fursuit heads that I know of. So if you're really worried about anything running or hurting it or whatever, this is the method for you. Okay. So she's sufficiently moistened now, and there's like little to no water left in this bucket, so I'm going to tip this out. Apparently all over me. I'm going to tip this out, and then I'm going to refill it with some lukewarm water. So let's do that now. So now that we've done our preliminary moistening, we are going to start with our detergent. Now you want to make sure this isn't a harsh detergent. You don't want any bleaching agents or anything in it. You just want something that's going to get your clothes clean. So probably only going to go with like a quarter capful. Got a quarter capful in there. You don't want it too soapy because you've got to be able to rinse this out. If you can't rinse it out, then you're going to be very sad. Very upsetty spaghetti. Alright, so now I'm going to give this a little zhuzh. Make it nice and soapy. So now we've got some nice soapy water. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our clean cloth, so what we've used to wet our fursuit head down before. We're just going to get it nice and soapy. So now we've got our soapy rag. We're going to do the same process, but we're going to be scrubbing a lot more. This is going to help take out anything grotty and gross in our head that we don't want there. So let's get going. This one you don't need nearly as much water, just because your head's already wet, and what you're adding now will get really further down into the backing. Now this actually soaping part of the process you can repeat as many times as you deem necessary for your particular suit. Because I'll be doing a LittleGreen tutorial with her soon, I will only be doing it once. Okay, so now our girl is all soaped it up. Again, you can repeat this process, this soaping process, as many times and do it as long as you feel like is necessary for your particular head. Perhaps you're particularly stinky and you want to do it again. But because I'm going to be going over her with a LittleGreen, that is going to be good for us for now. So we have our stinky dog water, our stinky soap water. We are done with this rag now. So this rag is going to be, so we are going to put this away. We're going to rinse this out very well, and we're going to fill it up with some fresh water. So let's do that right now. So we've got our fresh water, and we've got a fresh cloth. So this cloth is going to be our rinsing cloth. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to do the whole process again, but with fresh water, and it's going to start taking all of that soap out. You're going to want to do this a couple times just to really, really make sure all that soap is gone, or else your suit's going to look and feel really greasy and nasty. So this step is really important, that you get as much of that soap out as possible. So we're just going to, again, go to town. Just rinsing, essentially. This is the rinse. It's the rinse cycle. Alright, last little bit. Again, I'm only doing this once because, you know, I'm LittleGreening her afterwards. So, but I'm going to wait for it to dry so you guys can see the drying process as well. How much of this can I show you without wetting my camera? It's pretty nasty. Stinky looking. So we're going to tip this out. And then I'm going to talk you guys through how it dries. So you can repeat this rinsing process like however many times you feel like you need to do. But since I'm LittleGreening her and this isn't actually her proper wash, I'm only going to do it once. But for proper intensive washing purposes, I recommend repeating that process 2 to 3 times to make sure you get everything out. But for now, let's tip this out. Oh! Okay, so we are mainly done with the wet process. So we can now remove these, which are pretty wet, just for the record. They're pretty wet, so we can take these out. They're done. They can go in the bin, which is behind the camera. Oh, one in. Oh, I missed the second one though. That's okay. So generally when I'm drying a head, I take a towel, obviously, and I'm just going to start by just giving it a rub down. It's just to take out excess moisture, and it'll help you get out the rest of the gunk and leftover soap and stuff, and just give it a good rub down. Now this isn't going to dry your suit completely. This is just, for all intensive purposes, just to get rid of excess and speed up drying time. So the reason why I'm drying this and I'm saying it's important to dry your fursuits is simply because we don't want water sitting on our foam too long. Which is why the LittleGreen is such an amazing invention, because it sucks it all out. And that's why we like it, because it doesn't get in all the areas that it shouldn't into the foam where it can't properly dry out, and that's when mold happens. We don't like moldy fursuits, they are dangerous to our health. So essentially, now that we've given our head a good scrubbing, next thing we're going to do is give it another brush out. Now, do as I say, not as I do, you should have brushed it out first. But since now that we're done, we're going to give her another brush out. If anybody goes, oh my god, Sky, you're supposed to be brushing that way, no, stop! Doesn't matter. If I were to brush a piece of fur maybe for like 20 hours straight, maybe a day or two straight, then it would go bald, but it's not really gonna do much, and it's the only way to get the mats out all the way to the backing, in my opinion. So, Sky is now brushed. So what am I gonna do now? Well, mainly it's wait for it to dry, pretty much. You can come back. This is actually almost evening for me at the moment, so I'm actually going to put the fan on, which is behind you. I'm going to put the fan on and I'm going to let her dry, so I'm going to do that right now. So that fan is essentially going to be staying on and drying her overnight. If you're drying your suit during the day, if it's not a white fursuit, I can say you can leave it in the sun. Just be sure to put those paper towels back in the eyes, because sunlight can cause pigments to fade. So be sure to, if you're going to dry them out in the sun, stick some paper towels in their eyes, but there's no sun right now. It's almost nighttime, sun's setting. So the fan will have to do me for the moment. So that's going to be there to dry. If you are drying, I recommend brushing them every couple hours as they do dry. It shouldn't take too long. It shouldn't take longer than about 12 hours to dry. And that sounds like a really long time, but with fake fur, it takes ages, and it's just something you got to do. So she's going to be sitting in front of this fan for overnight, and I'll come back in the morning so you guys can see how she looks after her bath. So I'll see you in the morning. Goodbye. And it is the next day, and Sky is lovely and dry and clean. If I was doing this for real, like it was our actual clean, I would probably do the rinse cycle a couple more times. I can still feel a little bit of soap in her, and if that is the case, that's fine. Just make sure you do your rinse a little bit, 2 or 3 more times. But I'm going to actually be washing her out with the LittleGreen next, so that's what we're going to be doing. But this is how you hand wash your suit. By hand, you can do it in the bathtub if you want to use a little bit more water, but for now, this is usually what I do. So thank you so much. As you can see, she's lovely and dry. Take it back. Lovely. Lovely jubbly. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of Clean Beans, and I will see you next time for when we're going to learn how to use a LittleGreen to clean a normal fursuit head. So yes, I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.